fresh charges in court. EFCC reveals it is always open to whistleblowers for corruption cases, and under foreign scene, Ukraine troops pull back in Kharkiv after Russia offensive. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The world news at 12 begins with the federal government charging tax practitioners to work harder to get more revenue from taxes, stressing that tax revenue is currently the highest income source for the Federation. It disclosed this on Tuesday through the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madeni, at the 26th Annual Tax Conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria in Abuja. The government pointed out that based on the current high revenue from taxes, members of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee were always looking forward to the figures from the Federal Inland Revenue Service every month in order to have funds to share to the three tiers of government. The FIRS exceeded its 2023 revenue target by 816 billion naira as its total actual revenue collection for last year stood at 12.37 trillion naira, outperforming the 11.56 trillion naira target. This was contained in a presentation by the Coordinating Director of Special Tax Operations Group at the FIRS, Amina Ado. At the CITN conference on Tuesday, the Accountant General tax practitioners to step up effort in collecting taxes to show up more revenue for the government to provide infrastructure and other amenities. Meanwhile, former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, today pleaded not guilty to charges of approving the printing of 684.5 million naira at the rate of 18.96 billion naira. Emefiele was arraigned before Justice Marianne Anenia of the FCT High Court in Abuja on the 4 counts charged by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In the 4-count charge filed against him, the EFCC alleged that Emefiele disobeyed the direction of law with intent to cause injury to the public during his implementation of the Naira swap policy of the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. The anti-graft agency also accused Emefiele of unlawfully approving the withdrawal of 124.8 billion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation. He, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. Today's arraignment brought to 3 the number of charges pending against the former CBN governor. On November 17, 2023, Emefiele was arraigned before Justice Hamza Muazu on the 6-count charge of procurement fraud, to which he also pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, the EFCC has revealed that its doors and lines are always open to whistleblowers who wish to report cases of corruption observed in their neighborhood. This was disclosed in an exclusive interview right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM yesterday by the EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale. He spoke on the practice of landlords choosing to rent.
And so we are saying that, you talk about some landlord preferring
yes.
their boys to give their houses to, and some parents, wishing that their wards can be bringing in money, So I was saying that there is need for public engagement, public involvement, and a bit of a public anger against this kind of criminality. Because if in the neighborhood you see some parents wishing that their work should go into Yahoo business and all of that, such people should be reported. Landlord that would rather want to give their houses to internet fraudsters, they should be reported to whistleblowing, so that we will all fight this menace of internet fraud.
What is a whistleblowing process like? What is it like? How do we whistleblow if we want to whistleblow to you?
Yeah, we have the Eagle Eye app. We have a crime reporting app in the EFCC that is called Eagle Eye app. Now, the Eagle Eye app is a very simple device of reporting any form of economic crime, digitally and sometimes anonymously. You might not even include your name. You only want to know the crime and the substance, the evidence, the proof. Images can even be uploaded on the app. And it is one way, it is a veritable means of reporting all of these acts of internet fraud, whatever, in our neighborhood. Just upload it, send it to us. We'll go after it. We'll go after it.
You are still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The Lagos State government on Tuesday read the Riot Act to vandals in the state, restating that there is zero tolerance for their activities. The Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, stated this while speaking on the arrest of a suspected vandal for allegedly vandalizing and stealing iron and concrete barriers built by the state government at System 1 Odoyalaru Mainstream Okwebi Link Bridge. According to him, the accused was caught in the act as he, alongside two others now at large, broke down the concrete barriers and extracted the iron. The commissioner explained that the concrete barriers are built all along the drainage canals and channels by the ministry across the state to separate the drainage canal and right-of-way from encroachment by residents. He stated that the arrest took place on Tuesday morning following information from a whistleblower who told state officials that those miscreants who specialize in removing the iron rods from the concrete barriers were currently carrying out their operations. Still on the world news at 12, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, and other aviation unions, including the National Union of Air Transport Employee Associations of Nigeria, the Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, and the Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations and Technical and Recreational Employees, have instructed NIMET to begin strike action on Monday, May 20, 2024. This was disclosed in the letter dated May 14 and sent to journalists. The strike stems from the management's failure to address 45 months of minimum wage arrears and consequential adjustment for staff members. The union, which was represented by the three general secretaries, sent the letter and gave the government a 14-day ultimatum. The ultimatum had been issued and management responded with what seemed like a compromise, paying off the 45 months of arrears in installment. The unions also expressed their dismay that the agency staff has been awaiting the palliative payments sanctioned by the federal government since October 2023. They highlighted that the 25 to 35% salary increase has not been implemented for them, alongside NIMET's exclusion from receiving peculiar allowances. In a recent development, the Abia State Governor Alex Oti has been applauded for improving the state's power sector. Earlier today, in an exclusive interview right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM, we had Ferdinand Ekeoma, the special advisor to the Abia State Governor on Media and Publicity, to shed more light on the issue and analyze Governor Oti's 1 year in office. Let's take a listen to him.
as we speak. So it's important we put the record straight. We do not like to claim what we do not have or what we have not done. It's also important to state that Geometric is a private investment. It's not Abia State government investment. It's not Dr. Alex Otti's personal investment or investment done by him as the governor of Abia State. It's important we put the record straight. But what happened, and which is why the people are so excited, was that first, the Geometric power plant was a project financed by Governor Alex Otti as the then MD and CEO of Diamond Bank to the tune of $500 million. This is an $800 million project. So the governor then, as an MD and CEO in the bank, showed so much interest because he understood the place and importance of Aba in the economic welfare and well-being of our people. So he supported Geometric. Now, of course, there was a problem, there was a hitch. There were some legal issues involving the EDC, that's the Enugu Electricity Distribution Authority, company rather, and Geometric. So it lingered for years. Now, even before the governor emerged as the governor of Abia State, he also got involved to ensure that the problem would be resolved, in collaboration with some respected sons and daughters of the Southeast, especially the Igwe of Onitsha, Igwe Nemeka and Alfred Achebe. So now, coincidentally, everything about Geometric was coming to an end with the emergence of our governor. There was an issue of lack of gas, inability to get gas supplied to Geometric from the NNPC. The governor, on assumption of office, swung into action, got involved and started negotiating with the top management of NNPC. And that's, of course, without gas, that you can't function. The issue of a Geometric existing, will remain a pipe dream. So the governor got involved with the MD and CEO of Geometric, Professor Bart Energy, and by the special grace of God, there was a breakthrough. The problem was resolved. Now, what we did as a government, because, like I said, you understand the importance of power supply. You can't talk about industrialization and about being an industrial zone, being a business area. We believe that it will be in the interest of our government and in the interest of our people to support Geometric to take off. So we rolled out everything, moved in with speed and commitment and dedication to support Geometric to take off. So our governor was involved once again. In fact, we were holding meetings regularly, but we weren't making noise about it because we didn't want to make it look as if we were trying to take credit for a private investment. The governor mobilized. We met with the Professor Naji, his wife, who is also a director in the company, a very strategic person that with huge, rich knowledge of the power sector. So we wrote in, and our commissioner for power. And,
Still in Abia State, you will recall that in June last year, Governor Otti had accused ex-Governor Ikbazu of leaving a humongous debt burden for the state. The governor also accused his predecessor of diverting 10 billion naira, which was earmarked for the construction of an airport in the state. Recently, the EFCC resolved to probe the former governor following the discovery of the forensic auditors engaged by the current governor, Alex Otti. Here is what the media aide had to say about this development.
Like you actually what I'm going to say, we're only interested in the money, but the situation where the perpetrators insist they are not going to bring back the money, then they will be brought to justice. If the money doesn't belong to Alex Otti, even the one he's working with now, the funds do not belong to him. The funds belong to Abia people, and the people must ask questions at all time, and they must use the government or those representing them to ask fundamental questions to push for justice to be done. We're talking about 10 billion naira, my sister, and that malfeasance took place in 2020. That was during the COVID-19 lockdown. That 10 billion naira, the value of it is about 50 billion today. That was what they did. Now, what did they do? You claimed that you were awarding an airport project. They did press conferences or indulged in all kinds of media razzmatazz to talk about the airport project they were going to execute. Then, according to you, some traditional rulers now visited you and caused you to change your mind and now decided to use the money for road projects. You still went ahead because when you look at the conversations, the claim they have made, you'll find out that they equally paid the money after traditional rulers had visited them. So if the traditional rulers visited you and convinced you not to go ahead with the airport project, what did you do? You still went ahead to pay the money. Whatever I'm telling you here, we have documents, there are facts, and you can run your own independent investigation. They collected that money. They transferred that money to Ferrotex Construction Company on the 25th day of September 2020. 25th day of September 2020. Then On the 13th of October, the same 2020, almost a month after, about 20-something days after, you approached the House of Assembly for approval. So you had no approval from the House of Assembly, and you went and transferred money to a construction.
You just listened to the Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the Abia State Governor speaking on the allegations against the former Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of the state. Now joining me to discuss issues on the world news at 12 this afternoon, I have Ambassador Victor Atewe. He is a political, social and national affairs analyst and commentator. Welcome to the world news at 12, Ambassador.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. Ambassador, welcome to the world news at 12.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's begin from Abia State, right? I just played an insert from the governor's media and publicity assistant, and he's talking about how all they are interested in is that 10 billion naira which the former governor allegedly, money he was supposed to use to build airports, which was more or less diverted. And he's saying that's all they are interested in, the money. But the EFCC has resolved to probe the former governor. What do you make of that in a minute? Let's talk about other issues.
I think it's a slight step in the right direction, and of course, if the former governor has nothing to hide, I think he should come out to submit himself to the EFCC to proper investigation, of course, questioning. Because this is quite a lot of money, and of course, should have helped the Abia people, in terms of ease of. Air transportation, and of course help them to open up the state as to make livelihood very livelihood easy, and of course also boost the economy of the state. This is supposed to help help the people of Abia State, but of course it's sad that we keep talking about
Are you there, Ambassador? Ambassador, are you with me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Unfortunately, we lost Ambassador Victor Atewe right there, but we'll try to reach him one more time. We're talking about the Abia State governor alleging that the ex-governor of the state, Okezie Ikpeazu, more or less diverted the amount of money that was supposed to use to build an airport in the state, which Ambassador Victor Atewe is saying right now that could have benefited the people of the state greatly if it was used for what it ought to be used for. You're listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a short break and be right back. Unfortunately, we were unable to reach Ambassador Victor Atewe right there. Again, we're experiencing some network glitches right there, but we will keep trying on the world news at 12. We're now moving on to the foreign scene, where Ukraine has pulled back its troops from several villages in the border region of Kharkiv following continued pressure from Russian forces. Soldiers had come under heavy fire and moved to more advantageous positions in two areas of the northeastern region, according to a military spokesperson. Throughout the course of the 2-year war, Ukraine has typically used this type of language to signify a retreat. President Volodymyr Zelensky has cancelled all upcoming foreign troops as troops struggle to contain the new cross-border incursion, with several towns and villages coming under heavy fire. Moscow has claimed its forces have now taken control of two more settlements in the region, Lukyansky and High Block, and a further one in the Zaporizhia region. Now joining me to discuss issues in the news this afternoon, I have Mr. Peter Anosike. Thank you so much for joining me on such short notice. We had Ambassador Victor Atewe, but we lost him there for a while, and I just want to talk about an issue which is very pertinent. Are you with me, Mr. Peter Anosike?
I'm with you.
Thank you so much. So, the federal government has revealed that tax is currently the highest revenue source to the federation, and in fact, it's telling the FIRS and State Internal Revenue Services to do more to work harder to get more revenue from taxes, as tax revenue is currently the highest income source for the federation. I want to take your mind back to what President Tinubu had said before, even before he became president, that he would widen the tax net, widen the tax bracket in order for more revenue to accrue to the federation. Can we say this is what is happening now with all the several different taxes that Nigerians have had to pay over the years and the new ones that may even come up that we don't know about yet?
Well, I want to say that when it comes to taxes, Zacchaeus in the Bible is an apprentice. Tinubu is a master in the business. But the KPMG, a New York-based auditing firm, warned Nigeria that no country can tax its way to prosperity. That no country can tax its way to prosperity. This is a warning that KPMG gave the federal government because of the way it has been overtaxing, overburdening the already impoverished Nigerians. So the truth is that Tinubu has no idea how to create wealth. You don't create wealth by taxing people. You create wealth by building an economy, creating an enabling environment that will generate money. No country can develop by taxing.
No country can develop by taxing, but what if these taxes were actually going into basic amenities, infrastructure, roads, and every other thing that Nigerians need to live a better life?
Which infrastructure? Which new roads are being constructed in this country apart from the Lagos Calabar route that he awarded to his business partner, high-tech? What construction is going on in the country? Revenue.
You're saying there is no justification for this continuous taxation of Nigerians and Nigerian businesses?
Nigerians are already overtaxed. Nigerians are already overburdened. So to me, this is wickedness on the part of the president and the presidency.
That is when they say, okay, tax officials go out and make sure you collect more tax in order to gather revenue for the federal government. You believe it is wickedness?
It is wickedness because Nigerians are already overtaxed. Nigerians are already overburdened. Poverty is increasing in numbers on a daily basis in this country. Then why are you already teaching somebody down? It is wickedness.
So then you would advise that the number of taxes that Nigerians, businesses and others have to pay should rather be reduced than increased?
It should be giving incentive to a business owner, because when you overtax them, they will tax their workers. Understand me? So rather than giving tax, giving a tax holiday incentive to business owners so that they can grow. When they grow, they will employ more people. When more people are employed, naturally they will be paying taxes and government will be getting revenue. This is the MVP of economy.
So, according to you, the federal government should explore other avenues of making revenue other than taxing Nigerians. All right, let's talk about the EFCC and Emefiele. He was arraigned on charges of approving the printing of about 684.5 million naira at the cost of 18.96 billion naira. Now, this is something that anyone who hears it will definitely want to scream. You definitely want to talk about it because it is such a loss if you're printing 600 million with 18 billion naira. But then he has pleaded not guilty to this charge, right? The EFCC is saying he disobeyed the direction of the law with intent to cause injury to the public during his implementation of the Naira swap policy. If not for any other charge, if not even for the charge of corrupting confer advantage, for the fact that Nigerians went through immense stress during the Naira swap policy, would you say Emefiele deserves what he's getting?
Well, according to the CBN Act, the president is directly in charge of CBN. The CBN supervises the CBN, not the Minister of Finance. And the Minister of Finance and the CBN governor cannot do anything without the approval of the president. So it was Muhammadu Buhari that approved the printing of new Naira notes. So what Emefiele did was just to obey orders from the president. So
Buhari should be the one answering these questions.
It is Buhari that printed the new notes, not Emefiele. Emefiele is an employee of Buhari. Emefiele is not an employer. He obeyed the order of the president. He cannot single-handedly print currencies without getting approval from the president. It doesn't happen. And again, it is now that they are revealing to us how much it costs to print our Naira notes. I know that in the United States, it costs 4 cents to print any of the dollar bills. 4 cents, $100, $50, $20, $10. The only difference is what is written on it. Maybe 100, 50, 20. It costs just 4 cents to print any dollar bill. But in Nigeria, we don't know how much it costs to print our 1,000 naira, 500 naira, 200 naira, so on and so forth. So this is where they have been scamming us. Every Nigerian should know how much it costs to print 1,000 naira, 500 naira, but they have been hiding this information for a long time now.
So that is one revelation that this whole legal debacle has made for you.
Sure, that is the only thing the only thing new. Other people, other CBN governors have printed currency. We never know how much they use. But because of this is Emefiele now, this revelation is coming out just to nail him. But for me, Buhari should be held responsible for the printing of the new Naira note.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Peter Anoske. Our time is fast spent and we need to go. But I must thank you for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you and have an amazing day.
Thank you for having me.
And that is a wrap on the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the federal government has reviewed that tax is the highest revenue source to the federation. Emefiele pleads not guilty to fresh charges in court. EFCC reviews it is always open to whistleblowers for corruption cases. And on the foreign scene, Ukraine troops pull back in Kharkiv after Russia offensive. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please stay tuned. The area matter comes up next.